Hey kindergartners, this week in garden class we are going to get to make our own greenhouse, and we are going to put some seeds in a bag and see if we can get them to germinate, which means go from seed to plant. All right, so you're going to go ahead and have your garden greenhouse sheet handy, and then you're also going to have your garden kit handy. It has some cotton balls. Okay, we're going to use the beans that are in there, and then you're also going to need a Ziploc bag, and then tape and scissors are going to be handy as well. All right, and then at the end of class what we're going to do is we're going to read a fun book called Rosie Sprout's Time to Shine, all about a little girl and her journey to get a seed to germinate in one of her classroom projects. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. First thing we're going to do is we're going to dive right into our project. So for this, what you're going to want, okay, is a sheet of paper. If you don't have this, that's totally fine. Okay, this is just to make it a little bit cuter. You can write your name on it, okay? If you don't have this, you can use any sheet of paper you want, all right? Or you can just use it as a Ziploc bag, all right? So I'm going to go ahead. We're going to switch to our document camera so you can follow along step by step. And then we are going to go ahead and get working on our project. All right, so to start our project today, we are going to be using this sheet, a bag. We're going to get out some cotton balls, our beans, and some tape and scissors. Okay, so for us, what we've got is we've got this sheet. And so if you have this sheet, great. If you don't, that's fine. You're just going to go ahead and listen. Okay, and then I will tell you when we're going to go ahead and skip to the pertinent part, which is involving the bag. But if you have this sheet, what you're going to do is you're going to get it out. Okay, you're going to get out your scissors, and right here it says cut off and remove. So on that dotted line, we're going to cut. Okay, and basically all we're doing is making a little house outline. You can see I included a little gnome for you. Okay, he's the little keeper of your house. Okay, so you're going to cut there. And then you're going to turn it, okay? And you're going to cut same line on the other side. Okay, so easy peasy, nice and slow. If you need to, you can always pause the video until you catch up. Perfect. Okay, so now we've got this little house, okay? And again, if you just have a white sheet of paper, look, watch, I flip it over, you can do the same thing, okay? And it doesn't have to be perfect. All right, so now here's the tricky part, is we're going to cut out this middle part, because this becomes the greenhouse, the window into our greenhouse. And so it's really hard to kind of cut in the middle, right? Because we don't want to cut through the edge. Don't do that. Say no, no. We want to cut this middle part out. So how do we do that? Well, it gets a little tricky, but what you can do, an easy way to do it, is we kind of take this gently and we kind of fold it. So look, now this middle section that I want to cut is in the middle, and I just take my scissors and I just make a little cut like that, and then I open it back up. And now what I've done is I've created this hole. Look, I can stick my finger through it. Hello. All right, so we've got this hole in the middle, and now this is what you can stick your, just like I stuck my finger through, okay, be nice and slow, but you're just going to stick your scissors through here, and you're going to go all the way out to that dotted line, and now you're going to cut out this middle square section, okay? So again, if I get ahead of you, just pause the video if I get too far ahead, okay? Don't get frustrated that you're not cutting as fast as I am, because that's fine. So you just keep going around, okay? And again, you turn on every corner. You don't want to cut the gnome out because he's going to protect our little greenhouse. Okay, so now I've got my little house, and you'll notice that it fits almost perfectly on top of our little Ziploc bag. Okay, so that's what it's there for. If you want to write on this, you can write your name. Like sometimes I put Miss Alden up top. Usually when we're in school, we definitely put our names on this. You're doing it at home, so it's not quite as pertinent because y'all know what your greenhouse is. So once we have this, okay, you're going to go ahead and leave it as is. We're going to put it aside. And what we're going to do is we are going to create our little greenhouse for our seed. And if you've ever seen a greenhouse in person, okay, greenhouses help kind of, one, they trap the water in. The water's not going to be able to get out. Okay, so it helps ensure that that seed has plenty of water. And two, most times greenhouses help with light as well, right? When seeds need to germinate, they need lots of light. And so greenhouses are usually made of glass, okay, or clear plastic nowadays, and they let in lots of light. And so this is going to be your own little mini greenhouse. And what we're going to do is we're going to see if we can get these seeds to germinate, okay? And so what I've included are 2 beans, okay? And what you're going to do is you can open up your bag, okay? And again, if you didn't have that piece of paper and you want to instead write on your bag here, okay, I wouldn't do it in washable ink, but like if you have a Sharpie, okay, you can go ahead and put, like I might put some little vines on here, okay, with little leaves. There we go. Okay, you can make your little greenhouse look however you want. You can draw, maybe there's a cat in your greenhouse that's guarding it, okay? Maybe you've got other big leaves over here kind of hanging down off the ceiling. Okay, it's up to you. All right, but if you want, you can draw on your bag. Just make sure it's with a permanent pen and you have your adult's permission to use the permanent pen. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to take our baggie, okay, and you're going to open it up and you're going to pop your beans inside. Bam! All right, so now we've got our beans. But what else do seeds, so beans are seeds, what else do seeds need to germinate and be happy? Germinate means go from seed to plant. Okay, they need 3 things. So seeds usually, okay, need soil, right, which we're not going to put any soil in this bag. The bag is essentially kind of containing it. It doesn't need substrate right now. And what else do they need? They need something that's in the sky. They need a sunshine, right? Okay, I don't have yellow, so I'm going to use orange. It's almost like it's a sunset. Okay, so they need sunshine. So we're going to hang it in a window when we're done so it gets lots of sunshine. Okay, but what's the third thing? Can anybody think of the third thing that seeds need? We've got kind of, we'll eventually have soil once it starts to grow more. Okay, but when it germinates, it can germinate in the bag. It needs sunlight, okay, which again, it's going to get because we're going to put it in a window. The third thing is water. So what you're going to do with these cotton balls, okay, is you're going to take them and you're going to dip them in some water. Okay, and these are going to help hold that water in. So you can see I have a little spray bottle here. If you don't have a spray bottle, you're just going to take them in the sink, dip them in some water. Okay, but these are going to help make sure that there's some water retaining in that bag. And they're going to help soak up that water. So all I've done is just added a little bit of water. Okay, the cotton balls are going to kind of soak that water up. You can see they're like squishy now because they've got water in them. Okay, I'm going to separate the cotton balls out a little bit. Perfect. There we go. If you don't have your cotton balls, you can use a little wet paper towel. Okay, that's fine too. There we go. So we've got water in here. We've got our little substrate, which is going to keep the seeds in place. So that's going to be essentially the cotton balls in the bag is keeping the seeds in place. And then we're going to give it some sunshine when we hang it up in our window. So now we're going to seal the bag. We kind of push some of the air out, okay, as we seal it. So you can see like I've sealed almost the whole thing up. I'm going to kind of squeeze it down and then I'm going to do it closed. Now, when you close it, that's sealing the water in. So you're going to notice something really cool when you put it up in the window, especially if it's a nice warm day, is that it's going to, the water is going to be in the bottom, right, in these cotton balls. It's going to kind of evaporate, go up to the top, and then go back down almost as rain, condensation. Okay, and you're going to get this water cycle. The water can't leave the Ziploc bag, so it's going to stay in here, making sure that those seeds have enough water to germinate. All right, so now what we've done is we've gone ahead and we've made our little greenhouse, okay? We are gonna put our little gnome keeper, okay, over it. If you don't want to, that's totally fine too, okay? So I kind of line it up and then I'm gonna flip it over. Okay, and you want the seeds to kind of be right in front. And I'm just going to tape it. Okay, again, you don't have to be adding water to it, so you can just tape it close here. Now all we're going to do is we're going to see if we can get those seeds to germinate. Germinate means to go from seed to plant form. Okay, perfect. So now I've got that bag is attached. You can see I can kind of dangle it and it's not going anywhere. All right, so perfect. I've got my little greenhouse here. I've got my seeds, okay, ready to germinate. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go find a window to stick this on, okay? Remember, ask for your adult's help, okay? And then I'm just going to probably tape it from right here. So I can kind of put this here preemptively. So when I go find my window, it's ready to just get stuck up. And the window is going to make sure that it gets lots of light and those seeds can germinate. All right, perfect. And then all you have to do is wait and see if eventually, okay, usually within a week, maybe 2 weeks, depending on kind of the weather and the sunshine that it gets, you're going to see if your seeds germinate. All right, so now that we have our greenhouse, mine is hanging in my window right over there, we are going to go ahead and read a book about a little girl and her class experiment to see if she can get her seed to germinate, right? Turn into a plant. So it is called Rosie Sprout's Time to Shine. All right, we hope you like it. It is by Allison Warch and pictures are by Patrice Barton. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and switch to my document camera so you can follow. Rosie Sprout's Time to Shine. Violet was the best. Everyone agreed. She ran the fastest in gym class. She sang the highest in choir practice. She was the loudest storyteller at lunchtime. And she looked the fanciest on picture day. Violet was definitely the best. And everyone agreed, except Rosie. Rosie was not a fast runner. She could not sing very high. She was not the loudest storyteller, and she did not get very fancy for picture day. But Rosie was tired of hearing about Violet being the best. One morning, Mrs. Willis told the class they would each grow their own pea plants in little pots on the windowsill in the back of her classroom. Everyone was excited. Violet was the most excited. Her plant would definitely be the tallest. She was the best, after all. Super excited. For homework, the students had to decorate their pots. Plants like nice places to grow, Miss Willis said. Violet's pot was the sparkliest. Rosie's wasn't, but it still seemed like a nice place to grow. She says, see, I even put sparkles on the inside. As Miss Willis helped the students put soil in their pots, she asked, what do seeds need to become healthy plants? Air, soil, water, sunlight. Miss Willis was impressed. What good gardeners you all are. Rosie made a hole in the soil with her finger, dropped in a little seed, and carefully covered it up. Days went by and everyone waited. They watered their pots, but nothing happened. Even Violet's isn't growing. Well, when it does, it'll probably be the best. Yeah, probably. Peas are gross anyway. We should have planted watermelons or something. My sister's into kumquats. Then one afternoon, Rosie noticed a green dot poking through her soil. There was a tip of green in Violet's pot, too. Rosie couldn't wait to show Miss Willis, but Violet, who was the fastest, yelled, mine's the first to grow, hooray! The next morning, Rosie got to school early to check on her plant. She was very proud of it, but Violet's was a little bigger than hers. It figures, Rosie thought. She looked over her shoulder. No one was there yet except Mrs. Willis, who was writing vocabulary words on the chalkboard. Quickly, Rosie pushed the soil on top of Violet's plant. There, she thought, now my plant is the best, and she slid into her seat. Rosie felt like the best for a few seconds. Then she started to feel a little guilty. But the bell rang, and she knew it was too late to fix things. When everyone was seated, Rosie noticed that Violet wasn't there. Good morning, class. I wanted to let you know that Violet won't be in school for a few days. She has the chicken pox. Rosie slinked down in her chair. She'd started out feeling bad for Violet's plant. Now she was feeling a little bad for Violet, too. Just a little. She knew what she had to do. For the next 2 weeks, Rosie came to school early and took care of 2 plants. She gently shook off the soil she'd pushed on top of Violet's little sprout. She watered her plant, and she also watered Violet's. She sang quiet little songs about growing to her plant, and then she sang to Violet's. She made sure they were both in the bright sunlight. Mrs. Willis was very pleased. I believe you're the best gardener I've ever had, Rosie. Yes, definitely the best. Rosie beamed. When Violet finally returned to school, everyone crowded around her to hear about her chicken pox. I ate mint chocolate ice cream and watched TV for days and days, and my mom bought me a new shirt and a new bracelet and 3 new pencils with blue erasers. My doctor even told me I had the worst case of chickenpox he'd ever seen. It wasn't long before Violet remembered about her pea plant. When she skipped to the back of the classroom, everyone followed. My plant is the tallest! Hooray! Violet exclaimed happily. Then she noticed the one next to hers. Whose is that? That is Rosie's. She's been taking such good care of both plants, Miss Willis told the class. Everyone agreed. Violet's and Rosie's plants were the tallest. Thanks, Rosie, Violet said very quietly. Well, she said much louder than everyone else once they returned to their seat. Mine still is sparkliest. Miss Willis looked at Rosie, and Rosie looked at Miss Willis, and they both smiled. All right, so that's something to think about as you guys watch to see if your little seeds germinate, right? What are they going to turn it into for plants? Once they're done, you can go ahead and plant them outside once they've germinated in the soil and see if they keep growing. All right,